Extremely large hail, and there was a tornado associated with this storm.
We have more video coming in from the storm just south of Denver that we've been tracking right here on Storm Center. This is in Douglas County, and my goodness, this was the tornado warned storm. You can see how strong the winds were, how much rain was coming down. There are many reports of flooding here, and I see some pieces of, I don't know, leaves or other debris that are getting kicked around right there in that wind.
It was crushing in a big whale, and large chunks of ice and a lot of it slamming the ground and whatever else was in the way. Hail coming down in Lakewood. This is just southwest of Denver. And you see how that's bouncing around.
And more from Littleton, Colorado. I want to show you some more of that video where you can see huge pieces of hail splashing there in the street where a lot of water was coming down. Notice the varying sizes of hail, a little bit smaller maybe in that driveway. That's pretty common to see different sizes of hail in one location like that. But boy, that is some big hail and certainly can cause a lot of damage.
And these storms moving east now of Denver. Acres Green, Colorado, which is south of Denver, had the storms come through, and there goes that big storm off on the horizon. Still pretty dark on the horizon, but you do see some wet roads, evidence of the crushing storm that came through a little earlier.
All right, let's take a look and update you with all the active warnings that are in effect right now. Our breaking weather alert system showing you thunderstorm warnings in parts of Oklahoma, into Texas, into Colorado, Louisiana, and into the Childress area at the moment. No tornado warnings. That's the good news for now. But we do have some watches in effect, and we can't rule out the chance of a couple of tornadoes. Tornadoes can and do sometimes happen in severe thunderstorm watches. We've already had that happen today in both Colorado and into Wyoming. So we do have a watch in effect that includes Denver and Cheyenne until 9 o'clock. I know we've already had severe weather roll on through here, but additional new development is going to be possible. And that's the reason why that watch is going to stay in effect for another several hours. So just because you got hit once doesn't mean you're not going to get hit again. Now, the storms that rolled through just south of Denver, including the Highlands Ranch area that produced some damage, are still holding together right now in parts of Elbert County. It does look like it's to the east of Kiowa where the worst of the hail and probably damaging winds are going to be, but there's still a tornado possible tag on this and a considerable threat for some of that really big hail. So there you can see two areas where we've got hail cores. They're a little bit different. This one's a little bit stronger. That's likely going to be hail over 2 inches in diameter. So that's the size of an egg or a lime, maybe even getting, into apple size. And then over here, you can see hail is just over an inch or so in diameter. So that's going to be a little closer, somewhere between a quarter to maybe getting closer to golf ball size hail. Still probably smaller than a ping pong ball, I guess I would say. So as we take you out and expand the view, bring you down into parts of New Mexico, into Oklahoma, into Texas, we have some spotty warnings here and there. So notice storms are a little bit more isolated, some out here all by themselves, and then a few that have kind of clustered together overall. So less organization with those storms, but still plenty of threats. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for a few counties here in southern Colorado that lead up to the New Mexico state line, and then northeastern parts of New Mexico. But notice that Taos and Santa Fe are not included in the watch, but Tucumcari is right along the I-40 corridor. Now over here into southwest Oklahoma and into the Red River Valley, we have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. Again, large hail and damaging winds, the main threats, but can't rule out a tornado or two. So we do have some spotty warnings that are in effect here south of Wichita Falls, and then one here west of Oklahoma City for Weatherford and right along the Interstate 40 corridor. So that's for Caddo, Custer, and Washita counties until 6:45. We also have a tornado possible tag on this cell in addition to the other threats and hazards with that one. As we take a closer look at that cell, you can see there's also some really heavy rain that's being produced by that. Now we'll take you into Louisiana. Storms have been kind of firing up right along or just straddling the Interstate 10 region, and storms diving southward. So they're going towards the Gulf Coast. We had a few warnings down here earlier today, and now it looks like we got one just to the east of Lake Charles for the threat of some damaging winds. We've got a stray storm that could be severe here right along the Alabama-Florida state line. But notice a lot of the thunderstorms over parts of Florida have weakened a little bit. This cluster of thunderstorms, when that was over land, had quite a few severe thunderstorm warnings on it. That's been allowed to pass, but it has just been a constant feed of moisture all day long into the Big Bend area of Florida. We have had torrential downpours. We've had some flash flooding from time to time. Just know that everything is soaked and saturated in some of these areas. And those storms look like they're firing up. They're a little bit stronger here over the Gulf. So we'll have to keep an eye on those as those get a little bit closer towards the shore. And then our big upper low that's been so pesky all week long across the south and east, look at that. You can see it's finally starting to lift farther up towards the north. That's good news for those of you looking to dry out gradually by the end of the week in the southeast, but not so good for areas, say, like DC on up towards New York City and northward. They're going to have a bit of a wet weekend to look forward to. Chris?
All right, the storms that brought that tornado south of Denver also brought some serious hail. This is some of that a little bit earlier today. And we were tracking the storm as it was moving through Littleton. And you can see the big splashes and a lot of the vegetation, some of the trees being ripped apart by these ice chunks that are falling out of this storm right here from just a little bit earlier this evening.
So the Denver area also saw big hail last night. If you haven't seen the video, it's jaw-dropping. Yeah, we've got it for you here. So we're virtually right now at the Red Rocks Amphitheater in Morrison. Thousands of concert goers got caught in this major hailstorm, and it left dozens of people, almost 100 people that were injured.
So let's take a moment to watch and listen to the commotion as fans scrambled to get back to their cars or just find anywhere they could take shelter. And thousands had to run for cover, and at times crowding the stairways that were flooded, rushing water cascading down these steps here. A lot of people trying to make the long trek in hail on the ground and overhead to their vehicles. And again, having to deal with all sorts of issues and hazards here at the amphitheater.
Yeah, you're trying to cruise out of there, you're trying to run out of there, and the hail's accumulated so much that it becomes slippery, and the ground's not even anymore, and then you try and go up the stairs, and this is what you're dealing with, right? So we've got almost a waterfall, it looks like, cascading down the stairs here.
Well, that's a class 12 rapid right there, however many steps you have coming down. That's some serious business. And you also have kind of that muddy look, too. So that water's coming in from all the rocks and from all around.
Look
Not
how fast
flip-flop
that's
weather,
moving.
Jackie.
Oh, my goodness. No, I would never wear flip-flops to a concert to begin with. I hate to say that. Gross. But yeah, not the best of footwear to try and make a fast escape.
All right, the hail and the water, of course, causing some problems even here at what I think is a bathroom. And gosh, yeah, cold on the toes, I would think, too.
Cold on the toes. But can I just say, though, like as a parent, I know your kids are young yet, but as your kids get a little bit older, you're taking them to the concerts, and then eventually they're going by themselves with their friends, and you're nervous about it as it is, right?
Right.
You say there's a severe threat, just, be really careful. I mean, it's just really frightening to see how all that chaos unfolds. I'm sure it was very scary for, the young girls, and I'm sure some teen boys like One Direction as well. Anybody
yeah.
who was there, but the adults too. And people literally got hurt. 7 people had to go to the hospital.
Right, with some big-time injuries as well.
So earlier on Storm Center today, we talked to a fan who was at last night's concert.
And here's what she had to say about her experience.
Yeah, so they put a delay on the show to it being started about 2 times, and then they said we're all clear, and that was only for like lightning and rain watching. And then it was only about 2 minutes of a warning that they gave us. They said, seek immediate shelter, hailstorm is approaching. So we all ran down the stairs, the closest, and we just started getting hit so hard that we have bruises all over. The closest thing to shelter we found was some cardboard boxes underneath the merch stand.
Wow. How long would you say it lasted? How long were you in that sense of, gosh, is this going to go on forever? I mean, what did it seem like, and how long was it actually, do you think?
Oh, it felt like forever being repeatedly hit by it, but I think it started about like 9:20-ish, 9:30-ish, and we didn't get out of the amphitheater, like felt safe to leave until about 10:20, 10:30, so it was like an hour.
Wow.
Yes.
What were those moments like when you were trying to seek shelter? A lot of times we've seen people all trying to get to a safe place at once, and people are trampling each other
That can be
or
dangerous.
getting hurt because of the chaos. Did you see anything like that?
Oh, yes, 100%. There was people scrambling all over. You were being pushed out of places that you felt safe in, and you were put back into the open. People tried to grab people, help them under their table, help them under the tree. People just held on to each other. They held their hands over their head. It was very scary.
Red Rocks responded to the incident on Twitter saying, quote, "We want to take a moment to acknowledge the severe weather event at Red Rocks last night and offer our sincere best wishes to everyone affected by last night's storms across Colorado." They went on to add, "The Red Rocks crew would like to thank the teams at West Metro Fire, Stadium Medical, Argus, Aramark, Denver Fire, Denver Police, the Mountain Park Rangers, our own staff and fans for their work and cooperation in a fast developing situation."
Other parts of Colorado also on the receiving end of some hail and a